That's all right. That's okay.
Well, we appreciate your taking the time this morning to visit with us. We wanted to get your thoughts on our project and hear about the bigger picture of historic preservation in Cass County. And uh, I think the point being, in my mind anyway, is that we're stronger together, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've already been a great advocate, and the lovely letter of endorsement, which we have all in our little packet there, as we go out for grants now that we're close to the budget.
Yeah.
But anyway, we really appreciate that a lot. And
Yeah, no problem. You know, ultimately, I want people that are from Cass County or that are living in Cass County to be proud of the place that they live and call home. And sometimes you need to enlighten them as to the things that are going on, and to people who have come from, like, I think we do a good job in like Atlanta with their alumni, their Distinguished Alumni Awards or the Sports Hall of Fame. Like, that's a great opportunity to share the stories of people who matriculated from Atlanta and then went off to do wonderful things. And I've tried to do that with our like their new thing that Misty Golden is doing with me, the Cass County Pioneer Profiles, which is really taken off and is doing good. And there's a lot of folks that that people don't know are from or have a connection to Atlanta or Cass County. So that's been fun to kind of put that out there. But we've got a lot going on. I mean, Cass County, obviously, the oldest courthouse in the state of Texas, over in Linden. We've got the Macedonia Rock School, which is about to get recognized with with a National Registry of Historic Places designation. And the Rosenwald schools, the Rosenwald School that we have in Linden. Anyway, there's just a lot. There's a lot of historic opportunity to share our story. So I'll shut up and wait for whatever I'm supposed to say.
hey, I got an email from the Texas Historical Commission,
Yeah.
and I've noticed they're really changing their focus in some of their programs. So I looped Miranda at Economic Development for City of Atlanta in to the conversation, but basically they've created a real estate website. Now,
Wonderful.
this is something everybody you might like to write about this, but
Okay.
you do need to be either in a Main Street, program or there's a kind of a pre application to try and do that. And I know Atlanta has tried to do that in the past. But anyway, they have this great box on this website and you click on it and it shows all the towns. It's like, are you interested in buying a historic property? Click Atlanta,
Wow.
Linden, and then it'll connect you. So I connected Miranda with the person who's in charge of that and at the THC in Austin. And I said, this is kind of beyond Atlanta grade school friends, but
Yeah. No, wonderful. That's great. I didn't know they were doing that. And you know, um, yeah, Linden did the Main Street program, and have kind of fallen out of that. And Linden has had some real challenges with their city government, and Atlanta had considered it in the past. I tried to push us to do that in the past, but it just didn't work out. Um, but yeah, that's wonderful. I didn't know they were doing that.
yeah. The other thing is they're encouraging heritage tourism. So every month I get an email and it says, here's the events coming up at these historic sites, blah, 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 a whole list of them. So I think if we get along in it, maybe as a group working with all of Cass County towns and historic sites, maybe the Cass County Historical Commission, which has gotten so many awards, for what its work, but maybe there's a way to coordinate with them and have kind of meetings like we're having, like right now, just on Google Meet. And just say, what are you doing? Well, we're over here. Well, we're not sure about that. Well, we might like to do this or and I think again we'd be stronger together, probably, but
Yeah, I agree. The Marvin Kelly is the chairman of the Cass County Historic Commission, and he's wonderful. His only limitation is that he's not online. He doesn't do email. That's his only.
Good.
Yeah, that's right. That's his only.
He sure likes to talk, though. I'll tell you that.
He does. He and he's he's a historical figure in his own right. He was the first African American mayor of the city of Linden, and it's just such a good guy. He's a lot of fun. He was in the office yesterday, and in fact, it's already called again this morning. We talk to him all the time. But when they have their meetings, they meet at the courthouse on Saturday mornings, and I think once a month, and they go around the room, and it's amazing to me because there's people represented from every little corner of Cass County, whether you're from Bloomberg or Atlanta or Hugh Springs or Avenger, there is someone from every little corner of Cass County, and they all have their own particular, pet project, whether it's working on a historic marker that they're looking to get done, or whether it is a cemetery that they're restoring or working on, or a project. That they each have their own, or the Rosenwald School and the Quilters. There's all these different little nooks and crannies, and and then you've also got the genealogy group, which is a separate group altogether. And there's some bleed over, there's some crossover between like the genealogy group and the historic commission, and that's what you want. You want crosstalk between organizations. But certainly, I've thought, we need to have some, I don't know, heritage event to bring people together and just fill up the day with seminars, basically on historic preservation, tourism, marketing, and to give all these individual groups resources, but also to create opportunities for them to crosstalk between them. Bowie County is standing up their historical commission. They didn't have a county historic commission, but Marvin Kelly is actually going up there this weekend to help them get started. And so I think they officially have a group, but they're only doing, like, they're on their second meeting or something. I think they just got a new historic marker in Bowie County, and so they're energized, and they're about to start doing some things north of us. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I searched online, and I think I respect it. Is it Martin or Marvin? Marvin. Okay, great.
Marvin.
So I searched online several times, and I've tried to get in touch with the county proper through the proper channels. I think Gary Inslee, maybe, is he still on it?
Gary is still on there. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's on our board, so I've gone.
Yeah. So
But
yeah.
you can't get, you can't find any way to contact him, really. So I just have to go through Gary, and I know he's busy, and I hate to bother him, but I just think if they had a web page off of your Cass County website, just an add-on that kind of says who's on it and when they meet, or something, or a place to send questions in, or something, that it might be helpful,
Oh, I don't disagree. I think that's a great, in fact, that's an action item that I can take, and run with. So, let me just make a note that we need to put that on our website. We can do that easily. And I'm surprised it's not already on there. Our website is not great, and we have, I have a vendor picked out, but I don't have consensus among the commissioners court to move forward. So we're all under the gun to this is all counties across the state, to make our websites ADA accessible, which has certain requirements with contrast, certain requirements like to set your website up for to be accessible. Anyway, so we're looking to make a change. So when we do that, that's another thing that we can add to that. And excuse me just a second, I got a text I've got to pass along real quick to my wife. This always frustrates me. Okay, there we go.
That important things are important.
Yeah. Well, it's like when she's trying to log into the T-Mobile account, and it sends me the code. So, she's got to have the code to log in. Two-part authentication. So it's timely. So apologies for that.
No problem. Well, We had a conversation like this with the superintendent of Atlanta State Park.
Oh yeah.
Uh, when we were on there, we were talking about broadband access, and so he was fading in and out there, fading it. Poor guy, he said it's really bad. So I was in Austin, totally different reason at the state capitol. So I was visiting with, I don't know, I'm trying to think of his name, Pete Flores.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
He's a former, game warden,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
law enforcement. Yeah. So have many years of experience working with conservation groups and knew Carter Smith, the previous director of Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Yeah.
Worked with them. So we talked, and that's something he's trying to do is get broadband out to all the remote counties that
Yeah.
don't have the best access. And, when we did our community survey and in our conversations, everybody said, please, in the restored Atlanta Miller grade school, have strong wireless.
Yes.
We want high tech. I mean, they're just like, please.
Yeah. So you have fiber right next door now. And sorry, so we got, this is a long story and it's going to sound like I'm taking more credit than I deserve. But but forgive me, I'm elected. So the
You ought to be in behavioral health for 30 years.
oh my gosh.
You can really learn to run your mouth then. God.
So Conterra owns fiber in Cass County, a company called Conterra. And they only do commercial, they don't do residential. And we got them to run fiber to my insurance agency, Offenhauser, on Main Street in Atlanta. And that got them off the interstate and into Atlanta. They also ran around the corner over to the hospital. So they provide the fiber to the hospital, but the hospital needed fiber connections for all the imagery and things they deal with. So those are the 2 points that we had fiber initially. Since then, we got Texar linked in with them, and so Texar is less than a block away from you. So they come down Main Street to the corner of Main and Louise. They go north to the corner of Allday and Louise, and then go right by the police station, which is behind your spot, and then over to Texar. So there's fiber run currently that you should be able to hook into with Conterra. And I can get you a contact or Danny, do you want the contact for Conterra?
You definitely
Wait, I'll check. I can, and Carolyn can attest to this too, but Walmart granted us the enough money to have internet in the building for a year, and I got that. So we have Wi-Fi in the building now that's running about 300 megabits a second. So it's pretty hot now, and our budget, our build out budget is complete, and we've got quite a bit in it for technology advancements as well. The building ought to be pretty hot. I mean, that is a priority that we have. Well, you can't host meetings and you can't
Right.
you can't do a lot of things without it this day and time. So we'll have the ability to do that. And it's just something that you never would have thought of 20 or 30 years ago when you're doing a preservation project. And it just adds more to the expense, of course. And
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, it does. It can. I will say with wireless, it's lessening the expense in some respects because you don't have to run Cat5 to every classroom.
And we're experiencing that part of it. It's our original budget they submitted several years ago is less than what that original one was, just simply because that they don't have to run that cable.
They don't have to run the cable. Yeah. Oh, so I've got 2 contacts. I'm not sure which one would be the right one. One is Keith Lloyd, and that's LLOYD. He's the area sales manager for Conterra Networks. Okay. And that Conterra is CONTERRA.
Right.
And Keith Lloyd is out of Tyler. His cell phone number is 903-736-7250.
Okay.
And then I've got a Jeremy Cox, that's COX, and his cell phone number is 903-918-3091. And
Did you say is it Pete or Keith?
Keith's the K.
Okay.
Yeah. So Keith Lloyd and Jeremy Cox. So Keith is the sales manager, and then Jeremy is the sales engineer, whatever that means. I've got a card things full of people from Conterra because they got too many. They got so damn many employees, I can't keep up with them, so I had to get a book anyway. Yeah, but that's who runs the fiber in Atlanta. Now, if you were in Linden, it's Etex, which is a different fiber owner. And then if you're in the rural areas, it's Charter Spectrum. And so we've got 3 fiber owners in Cass County. Well, there's more than that if you count all the cell phone and telephone companies, and not all fiber is equal. It's like there's one of them is this size and one of them's this size. And so but Conterra is the one closest to you. And that's what I would highly recommend. And I would ask for all the bells and whistles for free, because what are they going to do? The worst they can say is no.
Danny and I know we visited with Atlanta State Park. They definitely, that Danny might mention that to the Conterra group, I'll tell you what, here's the thing. A lot of tourism is coming through there. It's a big birding, and as you know, it's a beautiful park. So, it would be smart, for economic development to get that park sometime.
Yeah, and that's going to be Charter Spectrum out there.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So
They haven't been around. They haven't been in this area very long. I don't.
no, Charter. Neither one of these have been. Etex is out of Gilmer, and they've been in the area probably the longest, but they only come up to Linden. And they serve, I think, Hugh Springs, but Charter. So the FCC had, and we're down a rabbit hole on broadband, but that's okay. FCC had a program called the RDOF program, RDOF, the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. And Cass County, it was a reverse auction, essentially, for telecom companies to bid on this subsidy for extending broadband in rural areas. And Charter Communications, which is branded Spectrum to the general public, they won that reverse auction, and that was a 10-year build out. They didn't make a whole lot of progress very fast, and the legislature we local leaders put pressure on the legislature to put pressure on them to say, like, let's go, or we're going to take your money back. And they started hiring subcontractors. And so you've seen, Danny, I know if you've traveled any county roads in Cass County, you've seen them. They've covered over 5,000 connections now, and over 700 miles of fiber has been laid in Cass County in the last year, maybe 2 years. So it's been a bit. They've kind of moved from the west side of the county to the east, and so they're not duplicating. So if there's fiber already laid, they don't go where fiber already is. They're only going where there's not any fiber. And they've been out to Antioch, which is in the vicinity of the state park. So Rhonda Anderson is the contact for Charter Spectrum, and I'll call her and ask her about Atlanta State Park, because that would be in their wheelhouse for sure, and that can't be that far off. But just for your knowledge, that's about $60,000 per linear mile for fiber.
Do you have Rhonda's phone number?
Yep, I do. Hang on, I'll give you her cell phone number. Is 678-977-1833. That's Rhonda Anderson.
Right. Okay.
And I just saw her last week in Gilmer, and she's still plugging away, getting that done. And the problem that I have as in Cass County is that because we were a county that received RDOF money, and I say county, the county didn't receive the money, but we're a geographic area that received this infusion of broadband build out. we were ineligible for the next round of BEAD money, which was when they started flowing money through the comptroller's office in Texas. We were ineligible for that because we were a county that supposedly has fiber. So even though this money was available for fiber or for broadband build out, we couldn't apply for it because we were on the list of people who had supposedly received the FCC money, which we had, but we've not seen the results of the FCC money yet. Now we have, but it's taken a lot of political pressure and a lot of cooperation. I pride myself when you call Rhonda, she'll tell you Cass County is the easiest county government to deal with to get fiber built. We fast track everything here. If it has broadband attached to it, we're fast tracking it, and we don't charge any permitting fees. Other counties are charging permitting fees and doing engineering reviews. We're rubber stamping them and just send them on their way, and they're. I'm sorry, but it's got to happen. It's like a once in a generation build out. It's like, I'm sure there was somebody who said, we don't need telephones, but we do,
We might bring it back for the school. I will say this: I was in the final budget meeting. It was a budget review meeting last week in Dallas at the office of the architect, and they were the contractor, and they were worried about the length of time it would take to get permits in Atlanta to proceed. And I said, I'm gonna tell you, if you have an issue with that, you call me. That's virtually overnight thing. You don't have to worry about that.
That is correct. Yeah. Do you
water? Just don't
right? Yeah. Do you want Ricky Draper's cell phone number?
Actually, I shared Ricky's number with them, and he was the one that originally condemned the building, and he had to back up on it.
I bet that's so funny. There's a long story about the former inspector too, but anyway, he's a soft touch. We're very fortunate in Atlanta. Yeah. So that's great.
Out there all along the way. And before I forget about it, we are in the middle way in the application process for the National Register ourselves. So that's working, and that should happen. Oh gosh, it could happen anytime, but I would say within 6 months, certainly no more than a year. I wouldn't think that we would be on the National Register as well.
Wonderful.
And
another thing I was going to mention to Danny, being a psychologist, and me talking to Kendra Harrell over at the library, we're serving a lot of veterans in Atlanta. Yeah. And a lot of them are at the library are coming in there to pay bills and apply for services. And she's run out of space big time. And she's one of the big voices for technology and maybe setting aside a room. I told her what we need is like a mini WeWork space over there at Atlanta Miller Grade School, but we need some kind of space where people can access that technology. But also I connected your veterans for Cass County, your veteran service fellow representative with Danny. So they were going to do a tour, I think, and maybe see officially if there's a interest in them being there, and using our space once it gets renovated. But
so I'll tell you, we've had great success with the Texas Veterans Commission. I'm a veteran, or I'm still in the Army Reserve. I've been in 28 years, and so it's personal for me. But we were able to get a grant a couple of years ago for direct financial support to veterans with utilities, mortgage payments, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that was a $300,000 grant annually, and we got it 2 years in a row. And then the third year we were up for renewal, and we applied for a second grant, which they had bumped up to $400,000. And we wound up getting the $350,000 for the utility assistance grant, and that's Gary Foster that runs that program.
Yes, Gary, yes.
We also got a $400,000 grant for home improvements, so Housing for Texas Heroes program. So we got in total $750,000 from the Texas Veterans Commission, which allowed us to hire both Gary and then Andy Cockrum, which is our new guy, to do the home improvement grant. or a program. And that's, if somebody has a roof on their house that needs to be replaced, we can do that. We can do air conditioning. We can do new windows or insulation or a ramp for a wheelchair or whatever. Cass County's veteran population is 10%, which is higher than the state average and higher than the national average. And so and we're also in a service desert where we don't have the services available to us in rural, Cass County. So we've been able to tell that story and had some success, with Texas Veterans Commission, got more money for Cass County than any other county in the state this year.
Great.
Which is great. So we have renovated an office in this building upstairs for the Veteran Services Office, and it's brand new. It's beautiful, and we haven't had a ribbon cutting yet for it, but I think the library definitely has outgrown their space. There's a need for a public space for workforce related activities.
Oh yes.
Right now, if you don't have a computer at home or printer at home, and you want to apply for something, you got to have a computer. You got to have an internet. You can't go to Walmart and fill out a paper application. And so they wind up at the library, and then the librarians wind up being part-time social workers, and so they don't have the training for that, but that's what they wind up being. And we're too far away from the nearest workforce center. It's in Texarkana, and that's a 30-minute drive. And if you're unemployed and transportation's a problem, that's going to be hard. That's hard to do. So, so we need that space. And I think that's not only for veterans, but just for everybody. Our unemployment rate in Cass County is under 5%, which is good. But if you compare us to the other counties in our region, Morris County, which is just west of us, is the highest in the region. And then we're second out of the 10-county region. We're number 2 in unemployment, like in the worst unemployment rate. And so, I think there's opportunity there from the workforce training side for as far as for future use of the facility, whether that's workshops or whether that's just having a computer lab where people can come in. So I think there's opportunity there.